Hi all, NoCap recap here. I'm going to talk about a 2018 sci-fi movie called Upgrade. Spoiler alert. Enjoy. Set sometime in the distant future, Gray Trace lives with his wife Asha in a home where almost everything is controlled by technology. Gray is a mechanic and Asha works for a tech company called Cobalt. Gray takes Asha to a secret location to meet his client Aaron Keene. Gray then introduces Asha to Aaron. Aaron shows Gray and Asha a new, highly advanced computer chip called STEM that could prove revolutionary in the field of science and medicine. On their way home, Gray and Asha try to get intimate, since their car drives itself. However, the car takes a detour through Gray's old neighborhood as it appears that it has been hacked. The car crashes near a junkyard, leaving the couple injured. While the automated car helps to call the emergency service, they are pulled out by four goons, led by Fisk. As the police drone arrive and try to identify them, his goons beat Gray down as Fisk shoots Asha before he shoots Gray in the spine. They leave them as Gray tries to talk to Asha, but she slowly dies. 3 months later, Gray is left a quadriplegic. He spends his time with his mother, Pamela. She tries to help him adjust to his new life. Gray also meets Detective Cortez, who is working on the case against the goons that hurt him and killed Asha. The authorities are working off surveillance footage from drones that were flying overhead during the murder, but they have no leads as to who the criminals are. Gray then suggests that he wants to help out with the case as the police still have no leads. Back home, Gray instructed his AI machine to overdose him with his medication, but the AI stopped and contacted the emergency service. In the hospital, Gray is visited by Aaron, who offers him a chance to walk again if Gray allows him to put STEM in his back. Gray doesn't like the idea until Aaron suggests that Asha would have wanted him to walk again. As Gray goes through with the procedure successfully, he regains motor functions and is able to walk and run again. He then signs a non-disclosure agreement to ensure that he will not tell anybody about STEM. He returns home without Pamela knowing about the breakthrough. Gray started to investigate on the case, but soon, Gray starts to hear a voice speaking to him. It turns out to be STEM. Gray freaks out at first, but as STEM introduces itself, Gray realizes that he can give instructions and permission to STEM when he wants it to talk. After that, STEM assisted Gray on his case by using the drone footage from the murder. With the advanced technology of the chip, STEM is able to focus the footage of the criminals, which he discovered that the person who shot his wife has a gun implanted on his hand. STEM also spotted a military tattoo on a person's hand, which he uses Gray hand to draw it out. STEM then identify the person, blood, and location through the tattoo, who turns out to be Cirque. Gray tries to call Cortez, but STEM reminds him that the footage that he has seen through STEM will not be sufficient evidence to get the goons. Gray finds Cirque's house and breaks in. STEM tells Gray to look through the messages on Cirque's computer table. Gray found out that there are multiple references to a bar from Gray's old neighborhood called Old Bones. Cirque then returns home and quickly finds Gray. Gray had a chance to surprise him with an attack, but he hesitated. Cirque attacks Gray and is surprised to see him alive. Gray accuses him of killing his wife. Gray then tried to attack Cirque but was chalked down. Gray then grants STEM permission to take full control of his body. As STEM is controlling Gray's body, he is able to dodge Cirque's attacks and hit him back with precision at ease. Cirque grabs a knife and tries to stab Gray, but Gray takes the knife and slices his head from the mouth to his ears, killing him. Gray vomits after realizing he just killed a man. STEM then helps Gray clean up the crime scene to remove any evidence of him being there. Aaron meets with Gray after monitoring STEM's activity. He knows that Gray killed Cirque, but Gray tells him that he never mentioned that STEM could talk to him. Aaron is surprised to hear that and warns Gray not to pursue anyone, as if he were to tell STEM to commit murder and get caught, the police will remove the chip and Gray will be left quadriplegic again. At the same time, Cortez reviews more drone footage after Cirque's body is inspected at the morgue. She sees Gray rolling by in his wheelchair. She decided to pay him a visit to ask questions about what he was doing there, and Gray, going back in the wheelchair, makes up a story despite knowing he can use being crippled as an alibi. Gray pays a visit to Old Bones in his wheelchair. Gray asks the entire bar, if anyone knows any information involved in the murder of his wife or knew Cirque, please come forward. One man, Tolan, steps up. Gray asks Tolan if he knew Cirque, but Tolan chose not to answer. Gray then threatened to call the police, but Tolan took his earpiece away. Gray then said something about Cirque death being related to him, which caused Tolan to wheels Gray to a back room with a few goons. As Tolan tries to torture Gray, Gray was trying to make Tolan admit that he was at the car crash, so that he can kill him. As he admitted that he was there, Gray activated STEM to beat the crap out of them. After beating all the goons, he pins Tolan down and begins to torture him with a knife until he gives up Fisk's name. STEM then warns Gray that Aaron is attempting to manually shut him down, which would render Gray immobile again. He gives Gray an address to find a hacker named Jamie who can reboot him. Gray leaves his wheelchair behind so that he can run to find Jamie. After Gray flees, Fisk shows up to the bar hours later and finds Tolan's body. He uses memory footage from a camera in Tolan's eye to see Gray repeating the address STEM gave him. Fisk then presses the bartender for letting Tolan die. The bartender pulls out a gun, but Fisk simply sneezes out coronavirus version 5.0. Please subscribe to my channel that go up the bartender's nose, slowly destroying him internally. As Aaron is trying to shut STEM down, Gray almost loses all his motor function, but he managed to find Jamie. Jamie uses a code that STEM told Gray to write on his arm and manages to reboot him. However, she sees Fisk and his buddy, Jeffries, show up on the security cams, so Jamie and her hacker buddies leave before STEM can reboot. At the same time, Aaron goons arrived. Fisk and Jeffries find Gray, but just in time, STEM returns. Gray fights the two villains, leading to a chase. As Jeffries chase Gray, two goons that belongs to Aaron are coming up from the elevator. Fisk switches eye to an infrared view which enabled to detect Aaron's goons. He then kills them both at ease. Gray ran into a dead end, so left with no choice, Gray fight Jeffries. Jeffries tries to shoot Gray with his gun hand, only to end up for Gray to grab his wrist and make Jeffries blow his brains out. By the time Fisk reached, Gray had already escaped. Gray returns home, where Pamela sees him walking. He tells her the truth, but asks her to keep it a secret. At the same time, Aaron is afraid because he has lost control of STEM. Cortez then shows up at the house to ask more questions, since she found his wheelchair outside Old Bones. Gray makes up another story that he was going around trying to be a hero, but got jumped by a guy who stole his wheelchair. After Cortez leaves, Gray has an argument with STEM. As the argument is ongoing, they do not know that Cortez bugged Gray, and she is listening to them. Gray attempts to find Fisk, only to discover that Cortez is following him in her car. STEM points out that she bugged his jacket. As Cortez is pursuing Gray, STEM hack into one of a random self-driving car which intentionally slam into Cortez's car. Cortez returns to Gray home and started to question Pamela. Gray finds Fisk in his home. Fisk reveals that he was hired to ambush him, but Gray was the sole target, and Asha was just a bonus. Fisk also said that he shot him with a medical gun for him to be quadriplegic. Gray then fire a shot, but he misses. They both started to fight. Fisk is able to predict every move Gray makes, which causes Gray to lose. Gray taunts Fisk upon learning that Cirque was his brother, bragging about killing him. With Fisk unguarded, Gray kills him by throwing him to the ground, and have glass run through his head. He takes Fisk's phone and hears a message from Aaron that said to take Gray out. Gray goes to Aaron's lab to confront him, believing he tried to have Gray crippled just to try STEM out on him. Gray attempts to shoot Aaron, but Cortez appears and orders him to throw the gun away. She ordered Gray to put his hand behind his back and lie down on the ground, but as Cortez is about to cuff him, he tosses her without even touching her. Gray then tries to choke Cortez with STEM controlling him. Gray tries to resist it, even stabbing his own hand. Gray continues to resist STEM as he tries to choke Cortez. She manages to tase him. Aaron then reveals that he was not behind the murder plot, but it was always STEM who was controlling him. STEM grew to be too intelligent, and he wanted a body of his own, so he manipulated Aaron into organizing everything to get Gray's body, even hacking Gray's car to cause the accident. Stem then takes full control of his body and tries to stab Aaron in the head that went through his hand. He then takes a gun and aims it at Cortez while she is incapacitated. Gray then yells that he is in control, and he shoots himself in the neck to destroy Stem. Gray wakes up in a hospital bed. To his surprise, he finds Asha there, happy that he is awake. It appears as though he woke up from a coma as a result of the car accident. However, this is not real. Gray's mind has broken down, allowing Stem to completely take control of his body and mind, leaving Gray stuck in a fantasy where he can be with Asha again. After revealing his control to Cortez, Stem shoots her dead and leaves. The end. Hope you enjoy. Please help to subscribe and like the video.